Talking with the experts.
Unlock the secrets to thriving in both business and in your personal life with Fred Talisman in episode 532.
So one of the keys is to determine how much time they need to wind down. I call that my off-duty time. So that I have an understanding with anybody in my life that when I'm off my off-duty time, there's no discussion of problems or issues. A lot of people will wait to discuss relationship problems at bedtime. Horrible time to do that. So once you're clear in your off-duty time, then you create that agreement with your partner. So that's part of it. Another part of it is I teach people that have sleep problems to decide how many hours of sleep they want to get each night, so not sleep deprived, and then to write out the following statement. Let's say they feel they need 8 hours of sleep. The statement would be, I'm going to take the next 8 hours. It's a total mental vacation from any thoughts, worries, concerns, feelings, or responsibilities. And I will awaken at my desired time, refreshed, renewed, and re-energized, looking forward to the day.
Talking with the experts.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts, where we believe that success is a journey, and every journey is easier with help from friends. That's why we bring you top-notch experts and real business heroes eager to share their lessons from the road to success. We delve into new topics each week: effective marketing strategies, innovative problem-solving, financial planning, and team building. We tackle everything you need to know to grow your business and keep it thriving. Whether you dream about launching your first startup or a business veteran looking to shake things up, we've got you covered. With each episode, you'll gain knowledge, boost your confidence, and be inspired to take action. So, grab a coffee, make yourself comfortable, and join our exciting journey. You're not alone in this. We're here, guiding you, cheering for you, and celebrating each milestone. Let's turn your business dreams into reality, starting today. Here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello, welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is all about business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today my guest is Fred Talisman. And Fred is going to be discussing with us how we can dominate our businesses and our niche audience while having a thriving marriage and a family life as well. And that's something that we all strive, is that work-life balance. And Fred's going to be discussing how he can help many of the most powerful tools that he's taught in most of his successful clients, and how to leave work at home, and especially if you work from home, which is very important, how to ensure your spouse and kids feel consistently loved, respected, and emotionally supported, and how to master self-care, which is also one of the most important things of an entrepreneur, is that we don't often take the time to look after ourselves. A little bit about Fred is he had a dual practice for over 25 years as a business consultant, and he's a licensed psychotherapist. And most inspiring and top business people have come to him in their crisis. Their spouse wants to break up, and their kids feel abandoned, and they're personally dealing with addiction or poor eating and habits, and their stress is just like right up here. And Fred's been able to help them navigate through that and have a great business and a happy life. Fred, welcome to Talking with the Experts. It's such a pleasure to talk to you today.
Great. Thank you, Rose. Pleasure to talk to you.
Tell me a little bit how you became, this great business consultant and a licensed psychotherapist, how it's brought you to what you are, offering and talking about today.
Well, my beginning was, I don't know if you saw the original Karate Kid, but I had my Mr. Miyagi. I had like a life coach when I was 16. And he was also an unlicensed. He was a life coach, not a licensed therapist. And what I got from him inspired me to help others in the same way. So that was my beginning. And I got into business consulting because I thought that with all the schooling that I had, that I would just naturally have all these clients flocking to my door. And of course, I learned the hard way really quickly that wasn't true. And so everybody I knew that was a master business, I would trade with them and get them to teach me how to do marketing and sales. And then I took what I learned and I taught that to others. So that's how you do the dual practice.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So tell me, how can, business owners, entrepreneurs, and people that, are high level business employees or managers, perhaps, work their work-life balance so that they can have a successful business or work for a successful business and have this, great family? What are the things that, they could be doing incorrectly, and how can they change that behavior to become, and combine them both?
Sure. Well, it starts with their clarity of themselves about what they want and how they want to be as a business owner and as a partner and as a parent. And I say partner because a lot of the people I work with are not married, but they still have families together.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, what are the tools that they can bring to the relationship so that, they leave the business at the door, so to speak, and separate their work from their home life?
Great question. They need to start off with knowing when they're off duty from work. So I teach my clients to really have a clear end of their workday that they determine, and about half an hour before the end of their day to write up in detail where they're leaving off and where they want to pick up from. So they can pick up from exactly where they left off the next day and not keep it in their head.
Now, that's really important, to leave your work at the door when you walk into your front door. But what about those people that work from home? That can be quite challenging.
It is more challenging, yeah. So they have to have the same thing, to know when they're off duty from work. They have a clear stopping point each day.
Yeah, so how do they do that?
Well, I would recommend that they work off their calendar, and they put like an alarm that reminds them, okay, I'm off duty at this time. And also let other people know that too, so that nobody's expecting them when they're off duty and they're on personal time, family time, relationship time, to be responding to emails, responding to text.
Yeah, it can be quite difficult to break the cycle of being successful, and and at the cost of their marriage, their family, their health. How can they break that cycle? What are the steps that they can take?
Well, a great thing to do is to become a master at compartmentalizing. In other words, when there's things they need to focus on for their work or anything that they're focused on, to schedule an appointment time with themselves to do that, and to think it through, preferably in writing, because it's easier to think things through in writing. And then the rest of their waking time, when those thoughts or feelings come up about that pending problem, to remind themselves, not now, it's not my appointment time. And if they keep doing that across time, they'll be able to be present in the moment. To me, the goal is to be here now, whether it's in your work, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your kids, whether it's with yourself.
So consistency is obviously quite key here, and how. And it's really important that, your family, your loved ones, your friends, whatever, feel that they're valued throughout this whole process, of working and cutting off the work time from your family or friends' time. But, there must be some tips that you can give people to be able to do that, other than writing things down. What other mental, things can they do?
Well, another thing, because you brought up about them making their kids and their partner feel valued, which I love, and it's something I really focus on. So there's a great old management book called The 1 Minute Manager, and there's a concept in there about catching people doing things right. And I teach my clients to do that with their clients and with people that are in their business and with their kids and their partner. In other words, you're always on the lookout for things that you can appreciate about that person. And then you want to be really conscious of that and let them know that in as much detail as possible.
Mm. Yeah, I guess that is an important aspect of separating the two, work and family or friends. But the skills that are required to do this, I mean, there must be something, some skill that they can foster within themselves and foster with at the outside of the organization, that they can use that are important for these step-by-step processes.
Again, I think it has to do with them having like a clear vision about how they want to live their life with long-term and a daily basis and following that vision. So they're in a proactive state, not a reactive state. So most people are reactive to whatever is coming their way, the problems that are brought up in their business, the issues that come up, the stress they feel, that they're reactive. And then when you're proactive, then you're running your life. You're running your experience.
Yeah, I guess that's quite mindset and mind shift is obviously very important in the whole step-by-step process of getting from point A to point B, from being unhappy to being happy. And self-care is obviously a very important step along the way for anyone to be able to live a more fulfilling life.
Sure.
What are things that that you would advocate for that they can achieve this balance?
Well, I think the highest level of self-care is what you put in your body. I think that the food we eat, if we eat high nutritional food, that helps sustain our energy in a natural way, and that helps add to our wellness span and our lifespan. Because so many people nowadays keep jacking up their energy with caffeine and other substances, which wears down their body. That's the price they're paying to do that. So to me, other aspects of self-care is exercising, and really marking things out. In other words, one of the keys is breaking the double standard. That most people are pretty consistent, especially in their business life, of making and keeping agreements with others, but they don't have the consistency or that commitment to make and keep agreements with themselves. So if you don't schedule your self-care, you're likely not to do it.
So what sort of self-care practices would you advise that people take up or honor?
I'm a big fan of exercise, so I schedule my hour day of exercise further in advance than many other commitments. And my commitment to myself is I may move that if somebody needs my help at that time. I never bump it from my day. In other words, the only thing we do consistently is what's in our non-negotiable category. So everything I determine for my self-care is in my non-negotiable category. And that's what I teach to my clients.
Right. And sleep is very important as well as part of the self-care process.
Absolutely.
How can people, I mean, we all know the benefits of sleep, but, what sort of practices before bedtime would you say could be helpful to those that maybe, have a busy mind and they, lay their head on the pillow and business thoughts come into their mind rather than, the sleep process?
Great question. So one of the keys is to determine how much time they need to wind down. I call that my off-duty time. So that I have an understanding with anybody in my life that when I'm off my off-duty time, there's no discussion of problems or issues. A lot of people wait to discuss relationship problems at bedtime. Horrible time to do that. So obviously, so once you're clear on your off-duty time, then you create that agreement with your partner. So that's part of it. Another part of it is I teach people that have sleep problems to decide how many hours of sleep they want to get each night, so not sleep deprived, and then to write out the following statement. Let's say they feel they need 8 hours of sleep. The statement would be, I'm going to take the next 8 hours. It's a total mental vacation from any thoughts, worries, concerns, feelings, or responsibilities. And I will awaken at my desired time, refreshed, renewed, and re-energized, looking forward to the day. That's step one. Now that by itself is not going to turn off their mind or their feelings. So step two is this tool comes from sports psychology. And how this tool came about was that a number of years ago, top Olympic athletes were getting so worried and so obsessed about their upcoming performance that after 4 years of training for the Olympics, they were totally blowing their performance. Heartbreaker. So all this research was done to help them find a way to break up that way of thinking. What they came up with is 4-count breathing. And 4-count breathing is you're inhaling to your count of 4, you're holding your breath to your count of 4, and you're exhaling to your count of 4.
Yeah, we call that square breathing, where you count, and count.
Okay. Yeah, so you know it in another form or another term. So what they found in the research is the conscious mind is neither complex enough nor sophisticated enough to either synchronize your breathing with your counting or your counting with your breathing, and to hold thoughts or feelings simultaneously. You get a thought or feeling while you're doing that, but you can't hold on to it. And it always works with your eyes open, your eyes closed, sitting, standing, walking around. It always works. You can do it in the daytime to be in the moment. If you're doing it at bedtime, it gets really boring for your conscious mind, which is a great state for falling asleep. If you wake up during the night, remind yourself, I'm on mental vacation, which we defined in that statement. It's vacation from thoughts, feelings, worries, concerns, and responsibilities. And then you do the 4-count breathing to fall back to sleep. Really combination.
They're really good suggestions, Fred. How do you bring, to your clients, your psychotherapist abilities or, ways of doing things? How do you use psychotherapy to coach your clients?
With my business clients, I do it a lot when I help them do goal setting, because to me, there's 2 really important parts of when you're setting a goal. So one part is that I call it outcome planning. And so the first step is to pose the question to yourself beyond what I think is realistic, what do I really want? And the reason for that wording is that when we're going for a goal, we don't know until we do some research what's actually possible. We don't know at that moment the difference between objective reality and perceived reality. The other part of that is, what are my standards? In other words, what are the qualities of experience I want to have in the process of achieving my goals? Equally important. What I found with a lot of my really successful clients, that they hit a point in their life, the part what drew them to get my help is that they went from being really great at achieving their goals to they kept not following through. And often what the root cause of that was, they're going for the goals in a way that was violating their standards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great advice. And don't ever, change your values. Don't change things that that you bring to the table to, I guess, diminish what you can offer the world.
Right. And that especially, if you're in a service business, the part of motivation to get into a service business is you want to be of service. You always want to stay connected to that commitment, to that ethic, to that passion.
Mm. That's really great. It is, you've got to continue that passion, but you can't let your passion outstrip your values, that's for sure.
Right. Exactly
Fred,
right.
where can people find you, Fred, if they want to learn more about your business or what you can offer people?
I would say go to relationshipmagic.com. I've created a 4-part mini pop-up podcast series that will teach you how to stop all the fighting and arguing in your relationship, which I think is the core piece people need to have a thriving relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's relationshipmagic.com.
Right. Thank you for that. And quite often people argue, couples argue about the business and how much time is being spent within that business, and how much time is not being spent in the family situation. So I really get that the podcast can be most helpful to most people. I do have another website here, saveyourrelationship.com. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that one?
Well, that's the website that I use for that niche of saving relationships and keeping families together. But the way to get access to that pop-up podcast is go to relationshipmagic.com.
Right, Relationship Magic, okay, and that's .com.
Yeah, .com.
Wonderful. Fred, thank you for sharing with us your insights today on how we can have a thriving business and save our marriage or any relationship that we might have outside of the business. And I look forward to you sharing this with your network in the future. And thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Rose. My pleasure.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.